This is Mark Halverson on the headland west of Tromsø, Norway. I start verified updates at the top of each hour and practical guidance at the 30-minute mark. If you are new, this site is an old coastal station, building number H17. Concrete equipment room, a short battery bank, a diesel generator on the pad behind the windbreak, and a 60-foot lattice mast that used to hold a maritime antenna. The old Norwegian Coastal Administration ran beacons up here decades ago. I signed a seasonal lease on the site for field production work long before the virus hit. When the network feeds fell apart, I stayed. I will be here until fuel or voice runs out. 3 observations at 0900. Coordinated Universal Time. 1. The University Hospital helicopter did not lift last night. I logged 0 rotor noise between 0100 and 0600. 2. The Northern Ferry Line canceled the morning route to Skiervoy. The terminal screens are frozen on yesterday's times. 3. A new notice to air missions posted by the Civil Aviation Authority sets a restricted zone from Alta to Bodo for all non-government flights. If you are near an airport perimeter fence, do not approach it. The guards will be tired and jumpy. I'm using a 100-watt solid-state transceiver into a linear amplifier, peaking around 600 to 700 watts. The daytime antenna is a directional wire array pointed toward Central Europe. At night, I drop to an inverted V for the 7 megahertz band. If you hear fading, it is not your imagination. The ionosphere is ugly today. Sunspots went hyper yesterday afternoon. The signal will wander. I will repeat key items and the schedule slowly so you can copy during a good patch. Call signs are optional for civilians. If you have one, great. If not, just give a first name or a nickname, a nearest city, the time in coordinated universal time, and signal strength out of 5. Keep it short. List what you know firsthand. Say what you did. Say what happened. I'm making a baseline file every day so that people can compare conditions across regions without rumors. 0905. Coordinated Universal Time. One listener note already in. Piotr, outside Bialystok, Poland. You asked about oxygen. Your message said, quote, "We have aluminum cylinders, some empty, some with residual pressure. Our regulator seals look scarred. Can we decant?" End quote. Do not attempt blind decanting. I will read a safe protocol after the practical segment. You need proper fittings, clean threads, and a method to keep virus particles off the hardware. Hold, we will cover that. To everyone in apartment blocks in Oslo, Bergen, Gdansk, Hamburg, and Copenhagen, elevators are becoming unpredictable with the intermittent power. Keep a headlamp or a phone light on you if you step into one. If you must use stairs with heavy bags, work in pairs. Mask up. Keep your eyes trained on the handrails, but do not touch them bare-handed. Wipe the door handles you pass through, not for the guard's sake, for your own. Practical guidance will start at 0930. Coordinated Universal Time. Topic: a basic improvised sick room using a fan, a furnace filter, plastic sheeting, and tape. I will walk through placement, airflow direction, and how to pass items in and out without spraying the whole apartment. If you do not have those exact items, listen anyway. You can use bed sheets and cardboard and still make things better. Before that, I am logging live traffic. Valencia, Spain, I have you. You are a dispatcher at the port. Your voice was shaky, then you breathed and kept going. Respect. Here is your message, edited only for clarity and the crosstalk squeal. Quote, "Cranes idle, terminal sealed. Workers were told to leave or stay inside the fence. We have pallets of food expiring. Truckers at gate number 3, 2 with fevers. Guards refuse intake. There is a siren every hour. My name is Eva. I do not know who makes the call anymore." End quote. Eva, I cannot make decisions for your gate. You need a local protocol that the people on site accept and can execute. If you have a parking bay with open air on 3 sides and a wind blowing from the truck toward a wall, that is better than an indoor bay. Use distance. Use gravity. If you are the only person with a badge, get one more worker to witness every intake decision and write it down. If you choose to turn away a sick driver, say it straight and keep the gate clear so he can leave without a crowd forming. The worst thing is a cluster. A cluster will ruin your whole day. I will repeat the station identity in case you just tuned in. H17 Coastal Radio Independent Emergency Service, day on 15.350 MHz, night on 7.110 MHz. I am in Tromsø Municipality on the headland west of town. Battery bank at 8 kilowatt hours usable. Diesel fuel at 480 liters in sealed drums. Solar at 1.8 kilowatts on a rack I bolted down with U-brackets I stole off an old pier. Yes, I said stole. I left a note with my phone number and my name. If you are the owner and you want the brackets back after the world calms down, I will shake your hand and carry them to your truck. 0930. Coordinated Universal Time. Practical guidance. Improvised sick room. There was not a magical barrier. This just shifts the odds. You are going to pick a room with a window. A bedroom is best. Clear a path from the door to the window so you do not trip carrying trays. Tape plastic sheeting around the door frame to make a flap that hangs all the way to the floor. If you have a box fan, tape a furnace filter on the intake side, not the outflow. Slide the fan into the window, point it outward, and fill the gaps with cardboard and more tape. Turn the fan on low. You want a steady pull of the air out of the room so the bad air goes outside and not into your hallway. Make a handoff table just outside the door. A small table or a shelf. Draw a line with marker and write out, quote, clean side, quote, and quote, dirty side, quote. The healthy person puts food on the clean side, knocks once, walks away, and waits. The sick person cracks the door, reaches out, takes the food, places used mugs or bowls on the dirty side, closes the door, and calls out. Then the healthy person picks up the dirty side with gloves, wipes the surface with a little bleach solution, and walks the dishes to a tub. It is boring, stupid, and effective. Bleach dosing. Make a stock solution for disinfecting hard surfaces at 1 part household bleach to 20 parts water. If your bleach is a strong industrial type with higher sodium hypochlorite, back it off. If you do not know the percentage, assume standard household strength. For drinking water in an emergency, different rules apply. Do not mix those up. I will read the drinking water plan later today. Mask handling. Do not touch the front of the mask. Grip the ear loops or the straps. Take it off by the bands, not the face. If you have only one mask and it is not visibly dirty, hang it in a warm, dry place with airflow for a day or two between uses. Do not bake it in an oven. Do not microwave it. Do not spray it until it is dripping. Dry air is your friend. For that oxygen question, Piotr, you said you have aluminum cylinders. First, check the stamps to confirm service pressure and hydro test date. If the date is way out of range, you cannot safely refill without a test rig. If you have a big tank and a small tank and want to decant, you need the right transfer hose with check valves and clean threads. Virus is not going to get into pressure lines if you keep the connectors clean and work outside. Wear a face covering, gloves, and eye protection. Keep open flame away from oxygen. No smoking. No sparks. Bleed the line slowly. Do not do this inside a crowded room. If you are out of regulators, I cannot make one for you over the air. Send me a photo description of your exact regulator make, the damage, and I will try to point you at a salvage source in your area. Station bed tone at -26, loudness units full scale. 1 kilohertz beep for 1 second at the top of the hour. Yes, I know it is annoying. I do it so people working in loud rooms get a real cue that the verified facts are about to come. I have a shortwave clip from an Italian amateur operator near Brescia recorded at 0710 Coordinated Universal Time. He signed with the name Carlo and a call sign. He said, quote, local hospital is splitting wards by stairwell. They are using gaffer tape arrows on the floor. I can hear bodies being moved at night. We are all following the same YouTube video from a German clinic about turning bi-level machines into ventilators with a filter. I do not like it, but it is what we have, end quote. Carlo, if you hear me, tell the hospital staff to make a negative pressure draft with 2 fans in each ward if they can. Use their stairwell windows, push air out, keep doors closed, wipe the railings, drink water. A reminder, I verify before I read. If I cannot verify, I label it rumor and I park it in a separate file. Do not send me conspiracy theories. Send me what you saw with your own eyes. And what you did, and what happened, that is it. It saves lives. I'm going to talk personal for a minute. My name is Mark. I am 46. I worked in public health radio production for years. Before that, I was a stringer in conflict zones when I was cocky and stupid. I have a daughter named Mina. She is 13. She is inland with my sister outside Narvik. The last message from her came in yesterday by a third-party relay on 40 meters. She asked me to sing a lullaby like when she was small. I do not sing well, so I promised her I would read the hand hygiene sequence she knows. We do it like a call and response. Soap, rub palms, backs of hands between fingers, thumbs, nails, wrists, rinse, dry. She giggled at the word thumbs when she was 5. I can hear it in my head. That is my fuel drum when the wind is kicking this tower like a mule. 0:1000. Coordinated universal time. Band shift. Fading. I am going to read the schedule again. Daytime broadcasts on 15.350 megahertz at 5 minutes past the hour and at 30 minutes past the hour. Nighttime primary on 7.110 megahertz at the same minute marks. If power drops, I will switch to 15 past the hour every hour on the 7 megahertz frequency at reduced power. If the signal is faint, log it anyway. A faint copy is still a copy. I am getting a carrier spike from the south. Stand by. Voice on the channel. Arabic accent. Maritime terms. He says, quote, "This is the container feeder. Daria, Chief Mate Rami Ahadad, speaking. Master is down with fever. I have 2 crew with cough and weakness. We are south of Iceland. Fuel is low. We drifted last night. I need a course to hold that keeps us clear of traffic lanes." End quote. Rami, if your bridge instruments are stable, read me your last good GPS position from your paper log, your true wind, your estimated current, and your speed over ground at the time you lost power. If you cannot give me all that, give me heading and drift compared to the stars last night. I will try to calculate a hold. If anyone within range has a tug and a healthy crew and wants to be a hero, I will relay your details. But do not take suicidal risks. There are no replacements for you. A note for the coastal fishermen out of Skiervoy and Senya. If you pass within VHF range, call me on 16 and I will switch and push a low-power relay inland. I can also read you procedures for safe transfer of diesel in canisters without splashing. If you have jerry cans to spare, I will trade recorded weather bulletins, harbor rumors, and canned herring. That is not a joke. I have a pile of canned herring. The shop owner in town told me to take it at cost before he closed his shutters. 0:10:20. Coordinated Universal Time. Another foreign sign-off to log. A broadcaster in Buenos Aires recorded a final segment, voice steady, short sentences. He read the names of nurses who died that week and the names of those discharged from the ward. Balance. He apologized for pronouncing Polish and Chinese names poorly. He ended with the hospital's request for a steady stream of clean sheets. He asked for the city to send wind to the windows. He was not a poet. He was just tired. I will add him to the end of transmission archive. If his station comes back, I will say so. We have to talk about variant N. I did not want to do this live yet, but the data is not waiting for me. The neurologic phase is showing up in a subset of cases. Some people finish the fever and the chest heaviness, and then something else starts. Their reaction time slows. Their short-term memory drops 2 or 3 chunks. Multi-step tasks become brittle. A tough conversation feels like slush in the brain. It is not a movie disease. It is not dramatic. It is a grind. I have Dr. Sophia Lind on a scheduled call twice a day from Gothenburg, Sweden, when her clinic generator has gasoline. She worked in neurology research before she switched to epidemiology. She has sent me preliminary numbers pulled from a field cohort of recovered patients whom she follows by phone and, when she can, home visits. She runs a simple test. A 3-item registration, a delayed recall, and a go-no-go reaction time on a phone app. The app is offline capable. If the patient cannot run an app, she uses claps. Count to 3. Clap on 1. Do not clap on 2. Yes, like a kid's game. People who were sharp are missing claps. She warns me not to overinterpret, but she is worried. If you notice your own executive function is off, set up a written checklist for daily tasks. Tape it everywhere. Use a cheap egg timer or your phone timer to pace tasks. 5 minutes to do dishes, 10 minutes to take out trash, 5 minutes to wipe door handles. When it dings, stop, sit, breathe. Look at the list. Do the next thing. If you live with someone, ask him or her to read the list with you every morning. Keep the items small. Keep the words simple. There is no shame in this. It is scaffolding. A gust just hit the mast. One of my top insulators rattled. I'm going to check the strain on the guy line after the next segment. If the inverted V comes down while I'm climbing, I will say some words you do not want your kids to repeat. Do as I say, not as I do. Wear the harness with the chest strap. Clip the safety line before you step off. Double check the carabiner gate. If you fall, the fall will be short and violent. You do not want that. 10:30. Coordinated Universal Time. Practical guidance. Elevator alternatives in old buildings with no power. If your stairwell is enclosed, that means the air is stagnant. Open the window at the top landing if there is one, then open the bottom door to the outside for a few minutes to flush. If you have neighbors, agree on a stair schedule by floor to avoid passing clothes in the narrow switchback. Carry boxes in a backpack or a duffel, not in your arms. Keep both hands free. If your legs shake at the bottom, sit. Drink water. I know you are in a hurry. Move safe, or you will be in bed for a week with a sprained ankle while your friend does your shopping and resents you forever. I'm going up the mast for 5 minutes. I'm switching to the battery recorder. You will hear field noise. Wind in the mic. Boot on rung. I do not have a cameraman to make this pretty. I'm clipping in my lanyard. Clipping again. Okay. The insulator is cracked where the shackle meets the eye. The wire is still holding. I have a spare porcelain barrel in my pocket. My hand will hurt in a minute because the wind is cold and my glove is damp. I am not savoring this. I am just telling you what matters. I am moving the shackle pin. I am dropping the old insulator into my jacket pocket. New barrel on. Pin through. Cotter pin bent. Wire tension is back. This should hold until the next gale. I am climbing down. I am idiot's lucky to still be doing this at my age. Back on the mic. Hands are shaking a bit. That is adrenaline and cold, not the virus. I will log the repair in the ledger with time and weather. That way, when the antenna fails, because everything fails, I can trace the date and say, yes, it had 3 days on the cracked barrel before it split. A local call on very high frequency channel 16, a trawler off Kwaloya, checking in. The skipper says, quote, "Clinic in Tromsø closed half the urgent care. We saw 3 ambulances parked. No sirens. City is telling people to call a hotline, but no one answers," end quote. I answer, "Set a pickup window if you are bringing diesel. I will haul jerry cans with a dolly from the pier parking lot. We do this with distance, open air, and no small talk. Payment is easy. Canned herring or recorded weather or both." 1100. Coordinated Universal Time. A traffic controller from Bergen left a message overnight. He said their tower closed after the last rotation. He listed the last aircraft he diverted. A medical flight to Stavanger, a charter to London that turned back at the Danish line, a Petro crew change helicopter that did not show. He sounded like a man who had memorized numbers his whole life, and now the numbers make no sense. He did not ask for sympathy. He asked me to tell people to stay off the tarmac, because when people break the fence, someone in a uniform is forced to make choices he will not forget. I'm going to speak on ethics for 1 minute. You will be tempted to bend rules for family. I will not talk you out of love. I will remind you that a collapsed triage line kills more people than one denied request. Keep lines short. Keep eyes in the open air. Keep your perimeter calm. There is no glory in a fight at a gate. If you have to say no, say it quickly and clearly and step back. Do not taunt. Do not explain your life story. Do not perform your pain. You do not owe strangers a performance right now. You owe them safety. I'm logging something small. During the last segment, I could not find my pen. It was in front of me. I looked at it and did not register it as the pen. That bothers me. It has been 3 nights of short sleep and my mouth tastes like metal from the wind. Maybe it is fatigue. Maybe I am spooked by variant N. I am telling you this because I promise to keep my own numbers in the open. If I start making slips, I want you to notice, and I want you to correct me over the air. You will not hurt my feelings. You will keep me honest. 011:30. Coordinated Universal Time. Practical guidance, water storage and chlorination. Fill containers that had food in them, not chemicals. That means glass jars, pots, clean plastic bottles, and buckets. Label them with a date and the word, quote, drink, quote, if they are for drinking. For bulk storage in a clean barrel, add household bleach at 2 drops per quart of clear water, which is about 8 drops per gallon. If water is cloudy, double that. Shake. Let it sit for 30 minutes. It should smell faintly of chlorine. If it does not, repeat. Do not go crazy with the bleach. Too much will hurt your gut and make you miserable. A note to people burning wood indoors because the power is out. Crack a window on the downwind side of the room. Smoke and carbon monoxide will take you down quietly. If your head hurts and your stomach rolls, get outside. Do not be proud. Fall on your backside in the snow, breathe. It is better than dying by inches on the rug while your cat watches with puzzled eyes. I am checking band conditions. The 15 megahertz channel is marginal to Spain right now. I am going to stage an evening relay session on 7.110 megahertz for the Mediterranean basin. If you are in Portugal, Spain, southern France, or Italy, try me at 1930 Coordinated Universal Time on 7.110 megahertz. Log your signal strength. If the skip is wrong, I will try a different segment. 1200 Coordinated Universal Time. Tops of the hour facts. Country by country restrictions fell like a line of dominoes this week. The German rail cancellations spread from the south to the north. The French curfew started in departments near the Belgian border, then expanded toward the coast. Denmark's internal ferry schedules are down to skeleton crews. The Polish border at Tiraspol saw a 3-kilometer truck line yesterday, and the whole column went still by evening. I logged a Swedish Coast Guard warning on the maritime band about yachts trying to sneak into small harbors at night to avoid checks. Friends, that is a bad plan. If you get hurt on a pier at night, no one will be there to pull you out of the water. I want to read 2 names. Not dead, not famous, just good. Nurse Lina Alarcon in Valencia, who stayed on night shift even after her manager told her to go home, and paramedic Roland Ida in Tromsø, who cleaned the ambulance oxygen regulators with a toothbrush and was still on his knees when the pager went off. You kept your corners clean. If you are listening, go drink water. Sit down, let your back rest. The world will still be here after you swallow. Another piece of practical guidance. Laundry decontamination for households with 1 sick member. Do not shake sheets. Do not snap them. Roll them toward you in a bundle. Carry them low, away from your face, to the machine. Run a hot cycle if your sheets can take it. If you do not have a machine, soak them in a tub with soap and hot water if you can heat it. Use a stick or wooden spoon to stir. Line dry in moving air. The sun is nice, but the wind is what you want. Someone asked about weapons. I am reluctant to talk guns on the air because people hear gun talk and stop hearing everything else. But I know the question comes from fear about a forced entry or a roadblock that goes bad. If you own a firearm legally, keep it locked when you are calm and unlock it only when you have a concrete task for it. Do not wave it at a neighbor. Do not shoot at shadows. If you do not own one, do not race to buy something you do not know how to handle. A baseball bat, a decent flashlight, and a closed door will do more for you than a pistol you have never fired. 1230 Coordinated Universal Time. Practical guidance, neighborhood bulletin exchange without crowding. Choose a message board surface, like a sheet of plywood under a balcony. Mark time slots by hour. Assign each floor a slot. People tape notes and lists during their slot and read others at a distance. No talking in a clot under the board. If someone tries to hold a meeting, gently point to the slots and ask him to write it down. Keep pens tied to strings. Bring your own tape. It sounds silly. It will keep your building from turning into a debate club that spreads the virus with every gesture. Incoming shortwave note from a small hut on Svalbard. 2 researchers left after the power went out. They were using a wind turbine that iced up, then a diesel generator that sucked air because the fuel line was cracked. They patched it with rubber and tape, got an hour, then lost prime again. They left a box with paper logs at the door. If you are a local with a snow machine and you have fuel and you do not mind a hard ride, I will read you the coordinates after this segment. You will need a siphon, a wrench set, and a good mask. Do not go alone. Rami. On the Daria. I have your position. You are at 58 degrees north, 19 degrees west at 0840. Coordinated universal time by your log. True wind out of the northeast at 15 knots. Your drift is half a knot to the southwest. If you can set your bow into the wind and put a little way on with the auxiliary while you still have fuel, you can hold clear of the lane for 6 hours. After that, if the wind shifts, you will need to reset. If you hear this, click the mic twice, then call back when you can. I am going to say something blunt. Do not rely on the internet to come back like nothing happened. The network is not just cables and towers. It is people. People need sleep. People get sick. People burn out. When you hear a friend insist the web will sort it all out in a day or two, nod if you want, but fill your water bottles anyway. Write addresses and phone numbers on paper. Write schedules on paper. Learn to count hours without checking an app. You are not going primitive, you are going practical. 1300. Coordinated Universal Time. I will repeat the identity. H17 Coastal Radio. Independent Emergency Service, Tromsø Headland, day on 15.3, 50 megahertz, night on 7.110 megahertz. If I lose the amp, I will drop to low power on 7.110 megahertz at 15 past the hour every hour. If the station goes silent for 3 consecutive scheduled hits, assume I am repairing gear. Give me a day before you panic. I will be back. I'm going to play you a voice clip. It is my daughter, passed through a relay. The audio is muddy. That is okay. She says, quote, "Dad, I am okay. Aunt Carrie is okay. The neighbor left a basket of potatoes. We boiled them. I washed the spoons twice, like you said. Our generator is loud and smells like a lawnmower. We take turns sleeping. Can you read the hand thing?" End quote. Mina, soap, rub palms, backs of hands. Between fingers, thumbs, nails, wrists, rinse, dry. Count to 10 between each step. If you hum something silly. I know you picked a pop song I hate. That is fine. I will pretend I did not hear it. I took a call earlier from a lighthouse keeper named Henrik, who runs a small wind turbine out on a rock that wants to kill him every winter. He says he can act as a relay to the inland farms if I give him a time slot. I am doing that now. Henrik, your slot is 01415 Coordinated Universal Time and 01815 Coordinated Universal Time on 7.110 megahertz. We will test signal and path. If it works, you will read the practical segment bullet points to your farmers, and I will sleep for 20 minutes like a human being. 01330 Coordinated Universal Time. Practical guidance. Checklist designed for households with memory slips. Use a whiteboard or paper. Write down breakfast. Wash hands. Check fuel, water refill, medicines, 15 minutes fresh air, trash out, wipe handles, dinner prep, call neighbor, lights off. Put squares next to each. Tick them, then erase them in the morning. Keep the list simple. Do not stack 10 tasks in one line. The person who needs the list will not read a paragraph. He or she will scan for squares. Squares make action. I want to pause on language for a second. You will hear people say, "We are strong, we are resilient." Good. You will hear people say, "This is a war." I do not like that word for a virus. A virus does not have a brain. It does not hear speeches. You cannot scare it. You can only reduce the ways you give it a ride to new lungs. That is it. It is boring. It is repetitive. It works. The Norwegian Public Roads Administration has trucks out towing cars off main routes near town, not because of tickets, but because people are abandoning vehicles at weird angles at the entrances to tunnels and slowing emergency traffic. If you ran out of gas, you are not a villain. But please, if your car is dying, do not let it die in a tunnel mouth. Coast to a shoulder. Turn on your hazard lights. Tape a note on the window with a phone number so a tow can reach you later if phones come back. 01400, coordinated, universal time. 1 minute to Henrik's relay test. While we wait, here is a tiny technical tip. If your portable radio uses small batteries, store the spares in a zip bag with a slip of paper that says, quote, installed on day X, end quote. Then when you get weird reception, you will not chase ghosts. You will know the batteries are old and you will change them. Henrik, this is H17. Key up twice. He keyed twice. He is a low rumble under static. He reads, quote, practical list. Door handle wipe, bleach 1 to 20 for hard surfaces, box fan and window blowing out, filter on intake side, sick room handoff table with clean side and dirty side, end quote. Perfect. That is how a relay sounds. Not fancy, just useful. I have a request to read from a woman in Riga, Latvia. Her mother is deaf. She wants printed cards with simple icons for mask, food, water, medicine, temperature, bathroom, bed. I cannot mail you cards, but here is what you do. Draw a small square, write the word in your language, and draw a simple symbol next to it. Laminate with tape, make duplicates, hang them in every room. A deaf person in a crisis can manage a lot if you stop treating her like glass and give her clean, predictable tools. 01430, coordinated universal time. Practical guidance, battery conservation. Use your phone's battery life as if it were a bank account you cannot refill. Turn off background app refresh. Put it in airplane mode unless you are making a call. Lower the screen brightness to the point where you can still read. Keep the phone warm in your pocket if you are in the cold. A cold battery acts dead. It is not dead. It is sulking. Warm it a bit and it will come back. Back to Daria. Rami reports with 2 short clicks that the engine room is quiet. The chief engineer tried to stand and slid down the bulkhead. He set the engine to idle, but it is rough. He thinks the fuel has water in it. Rami, if you have biocide on board, follow the label. If not, drain off the lowest point of the tank a little at a time until the water bleed runs clear diesel, then restart. You will smell the difference. If you have a polisher, run it. I know you are short-handed. Do the minimum that gets you a smooth idle. Do not chase perfection. Perfection is going to sink you. There is a rumor running hard online that the variant N causes violence. I have 0 verified reports of that. What I have are people with flat affect and slow choices. They are not monsters. They are tired and foggy. Do not strip them of dignity in your brain. Accommodate them. If you ask a question and he or she stares, wait 5 seconds. Ask again. Simpler, give one task at a time. If the person needs to rest, shut up and let him or her rest. 01500. Coordinated universal time. Tops of the hour facts. Finland closed 2 more road crossings with Norway overnight and is turning trucks without transit permits. Stockholm is asking people to stop visiting relatives in care homes. A Swedish nurse who called in said, quote, stop bringing flowers, bring clean socks and soap drops, tie a note with the socks, we will read it, end quote. Germany is closing motorway parking lots when they overflow to stop crowds. Britain's media are arguing about football matches from last season. It is a way to distract from grief. Do not mock it. People find their own distractions. A listener named Ahmed from Berlin, a grocery stalker, says he wants to stop fights over pasta. He set up a chalkboard out front with the words, quote, today this much for each family, end quote. And he stands by it and taps the board. He says people obey a board better than a man. He also says he keeps lollipops for small kids who cry in line. Ahmed, you are doing God's work, whether you believe in a God or not. Keep a stool for your knees, man. Your legs will not like you in a week. 01530. Coordinated universal time. Practical guidance, field notes format. Every doc, every nurse, every volunteer should carry a little notebook. On each entry, write date, time, location, observation, action, result. Example, 0900 Coordinated Universal Time, Tromsø, Ferry Terminal. Observed 3 EMTs resting, offered water, they drank, result. One went back on call, with less of a 1,000-yard stare. You think that is nothing? It is not nothing. When you write it down, next time you will bring extra water and you will do it on purpose. Then you will tell a friend, and that friend will do it in Narvik. Patterns spread. Good ones need help. I have 2 messages in the queue from hospitals asking about home oxygen for discharged patients. I am not a doctor. I am reading from an emergency guideline used after earthquakes. If you discharge a patient with oxygen needs, you need to send him or her with a clean concentrator, enough tubing, and a written plan for liter flow with activity versus rest. If the family has no power, a concentrator is dead weight. In that case, release with cylinders and a refill method at a safe site, plus a pulse oximeter if you can spare one. Do not send someone home to guess. Guesses kill. The wind is shifting. The cloud line is dragging low over the ridge. Lightning may walk the coast later. If I suddenly sound dull, that is the surge suppressor eating a hit. If I vanish, assume the breaker tripped. I will run outside, curse, and reset it. Then I will report the fuel level again so you know how the clock is running. 1600. Coordinated Universal Time, a recorded sign-off from a Dutch community station north of Amsterdam. A quiet man with a broadcaster's mic discipline read the list of street names where paramedics could not do pickups anymore because the water level rose with the tide and flooded the little roads. He apologized for saying the Dutch names with a Scandinavian tongue. He tried, that matters. He ended with a small request. If you own a canoe and you can paddle straight, volunteer for 1 hour. Paddle a nurse across a flooded street. Go home, wash your hands. That is all. I'm going to address the security idea of road sealing. I know villages in Poland and Sweden and Norway are talking about putting cars across feeder roads and posting one volunteer in a jacket to wave people away. If you do that, you must build a fair intake protocol for exceptions and write it on a board. It should say, quote, if you are a doctor, nurse, paramedic, or transporting one, step forward, show identification, you get in, end quote. It should say, quote, if you are delivering food, stop. We unload at the gate with 1 person, end quote. If you are denying entry, deny quickly. Do not trap people at the barrier so they die in a ditch because you did not plan for a place to turn around. 1630. Coordinated Universal Time. Practical guidance, positive pressure room for a sick child using a fan. If your child is sick and you want to protect the caretaker, do the same fan and window setup blowing out and set the caretaker's room with a second fan blowing in with a filter. Keep the hall doors closed. The goal is to keep air moving from the caretaker's room toward the child's room and out the window. It will not be perfect. It will beat the hell out of doing nothing. I'm going to take a 5-minute break to drink water and eat something. I will leave the recorder running with a looped schedule. This is H17 Coastal Radio, Independent Emergency Service, daytime on 15.350 MHz. Night on 7.110 MHz. Verified facts at the top of each hour. Practical guidance at 30 past. If the station goes silent for 3 hits, assume repairs. Back. A listener in Malmö recorded a clean signal and sent a transcript by courier to a neighbor. The neighbor read it over the air for me. That is the most European thing I have ever heard. Thank you, Inga. Your handwriting is better than mine. 1700. Coordinated Universal Time. A short report from Gothenburg. Dr. Lin says the neurologic numbers are holding steady in her tiny sample. She is not calling it a second pandemic. She says to remind you to keep complexity low if you are recovering. Put the heavy pans on lower shelves. Put the heavy books on the bottom of the stack. Sit down to chop vegetables. Wear shoes in the house so you do not break a toe on a chair and end up at the clinic for nothing. Common sense saves beds. We have a human story from a supermarket in Helsinki. A security guard named Kalle Sits on a stool at the entrance with a clicker counter. He lets 5 in. He waits until 2 leave. Then he lets 2 more in. He is a big man with a broken nose and a soft heart. A little girl in a red hat pushed past him, and he put a hand on her shoulder and said, quote, "Little lady, that hat is a ticket," end quote. She beamed, and he let her in. Sometimes rules bend. If you bend them toward the small and helpless. 01730. Coordinated universal time. Practical guidance. Outdoor triage intake near a gate. Paint a line on the pavement. Make people stand on it. If you have cones, put them out at 3 big steps apart. Have a chair for the nurse. Do not make the nurse stand for 6 hours. Have a trash can for used tissues. Put a bucket of soapy water next to the chair for hand washing. If the wind is from the north, face your chair south. Do not talk over the line. Ask yes or no questions. Keep pens in a cup. Wipe the cup. Keep the cup on the clean side of the line. Lightning just hit the ridge. I felt it in my teeth. The line conditioner popped. The room lights dipped. I am switching to lower power for a few minutes to keep the smoke inside the amp. If I drop out, hum the alphabet and I will be back before you hit the letter L. I am back. One of my solid-state recorders died. It is not the end of the world. I still have the old cassette deck. Yes, it is ugly. Yes, the wow and flutter is a thing. I will feed it a low tone and then talk. If you are young and never heard tape hiss, congratulations. You get a museum tour in your living room tonight. 1800. Coordinated universal time. Tops of the hour facts. The Oslo municipality is asking for volunteer drivers to move food from warehouses to elder apartments. If you are willing, call the posted number between 9 and 17 local time and leave your license plate and your schedule. Be prepared to leave the boxes at the door and step back. Do not stick around for a chat. You are moving freight, not hosting a talk show. Valencia Dispatch, Eva, your message came in. You asked if you should open the gate for a feverish driver with pallets of food. I will not tell you yes or no. I will tell you how to do either option safely. If you deny entry, make it quick. Write a note that says where he can park without blocking anyone. If you allow entry, isolate him in a bay with a cross breeze, assign one worker in mask and gloves to unload, and tell the others to stay clear. Then deep clean the bay with your bleach solution and keep it empty for a few hours. Do not turn the bay into a break room. Do not eat in there. 1815, Coordinated Universal Time. Henrik's second relay. Clearer now. He reads a list of farmers by name who can hear him. He asks me to wave at a man named Tor with a busted knee. Tor, if you hear this, sit when you peel potatoes. Put a chair by the sink. Do not be a hero. Heroes clog clinics. 1830, Coordinated Universal Time. Practical guidance. Improvise face shields for volunteers. Cut the bottom off a 2-liter clear bottle. Trim the edges with tape so they do not bite your skin. Punch 2 holes and tie elastic or string. Wear it over your mask when you do intake at a gate. It is not pretty. It stops spit. Toss it if it fogs up too much. I have a reminder for people who live alone and cannot rely on neighbors. Leave a visible card in your front window that says, quote, "I am okay today," end quote, with the date. Flip it to, quote, "I need help," end quote, if you get dizzy or you cannot keep fluids down. Keep it simple. Your neighbor walking a dog will become your rescue if you give him a chance to see you need it. 1900. Coordinated Universal Time. I am scheduling the Mediterranean relay now. 7.1, 10 megahertz at 1930. If you are in Portugal, Spain, southern France, Italy, or Tunisia, try this slot. If I am too faint, try again at 2000. We will find a path. Before that, I will talk about grief for 1 minute. You may find yourself angry at the wrong person. The security guard at the door, the nurse who says wait, the store clerk who says 2 items each. Those people did not build this moment. They are your last link to something like order. Swallow the sharp words. Thank him or her. Walk away. Count to 10. Then drink water. Then do the next thing on your list. 1930. Coordinated Universal Time, Mediterranean Relay. I hear Spain, faint. I hear a woman reading Spanish and English and a little French. That is Eva's voice. She reads, quote, "Port cranes parked, gate 3 closed, food pallets aging. Truckers yelling less tonight. Someone left bread on the fence and ran. It felt like a prayer." End quote. She asks me for a song. I have no license to play music. I hum 3 notes of a lullaby. The legal department of the universe can come write me a ticket after this ends. A man from Marseille says the football stadium has cots in the concourse and is already too full. He asks if he should move his grandmother out of the apartment to the stadium. I say no, unless the apartment has no heat and no water and no neighbor. Stadiums are a last resort. A home with a door that closes and a fan in the window will beat a cot under a concrete bowl with 10,000 coughs. 0-2000. Coordinated universal time. I am feeling my words slip a little. It is like the word I want is around the corner. I am not going to brag and pretend I'm immune to fatigue. I'm going to mark it in the log. If this becomes a pattern, I will shift to scripted practical segments at the top of the hour and let Henrik and a rotating crew of willing readers take the bottom half live while I sleep. That is not a defeat. That is a handoff and a relay. Practical guidance at 0-2030. Coordinated universal time. Home cohorting. If one person in a family is essential and must leave for work, put that person in one end of the home, give him a separate chair at the table and a separate mug and plate if you can spare them. Have him undress by the door, put clothes into a bin, wash hands, then step into his part of the home. Do not hug. Yes, it hurts. You are not rejecting him. You are buying yourself time. Hug later. Live first. A man in Dublin asks if he can run his diesel generator inside a garage with the door open. No, never, not even with the door open. The fumes will eat your brain and you will fall over. Put it outside and run a cord. Lock it to a post. If you worry about theft, make a simple plywood box with vents and a lock. Thieves do not like work. They will go steal a worse idea from someone else. 0-2100. Coordinated universal time. Night cycle is starting. I am switching to the inverted V. If the wire sings in the wind, that is a note that means, quote, you are alive, end quote. You do not have to like it. You can hear it and keep working. I want to speak to the medical students who are being thrown into the deep end. You do not know enough. None of us know enough. That is fine. Carry water. Take pulse oximeter readings. Write times on tape on foreheads. Hold a patient's hand for 30 seconds so the nurse can move the trolley without worrying that the patient will pull the cannula. Those 30 seconds are medicine. 0-2130. Coordinated universal time. Practical guidance. Clipboards on strings. Tie a cheap clipboard to the wall at the entrance to each ward or your home sick room. Keep one pen. Tape a plastic bag nearby. Every note goes on the clipboard. When the page fills, tear it off, place it in the bag, and leave it hanging. You will think you will remember the oxygen flow, the last fever, the patient's complaint about a headache. You will not. The clipboard will. The Daria has gone quiet for a long stretch. Rami, if you can hear me, say your name, then say, quote, holding, end quote. If you cannot speak, click twice. If you cannot click, hold your peace. I will keep a slot open each hour for you until I cannot. 0-2200. Coordinated universal time. A final sign-off for this hour. A small community station in Alaska picked up my schedule faintly. The operator asked for relay standards. That means someone on the far side of the world heard H17. If that is you, my friend, here is the standard. You relay anything I mark as practical, guidance, or verified. You do not relay rumors. You may paraphrase. You must say the words slowly. You must admit when you do not know something. That is the core. I am going to sleep for 40 minutes between 0-2230 and 0-2310. Coordinated universal time. The recorder will run with a loop schedule and one practical segment on hand washing and mask handling. If you need to curse me out for resting, do it. I will accept it. I will also sleep. This is H17, day on 15.350 megahertz, night on 7.1, megahertz. Practical segments at 30 past. If I vanish for 3 hits, assume repairs. I will be back. Drink water. Sit down for 2 minutes. Then do the next simple thing. 0:23:10. Coordinated universal time. Back on. The wind fell a notch. The generator sounds like a washing machine with a loose bolt. I will grease the mounts by sunrise. Fuel check. 460 liters remaining across the drums. That is a lot until it is not. I hate numbers like this. They look generous. They lie. I have a note from Narvik. A woman named Kari, yes, my sister, says the neighbor with the little boy watched her dog because she had to queue for ration cards. Kari says the line was not cruel. People kept distance. A man played a harmonica softly, and the guard let him play. That is culture. That is the human part. Keep doing human things as long as you can do them safely. Draw with your kids. Read a dumb joke. Fix a loose doorknob. Not because joy is medicine, because routine gives you a spine. 0000. Coordinated universal time. Midnight. A long day. I am going to run the neurologic recap again. Slow. Variant N is a pattern of cognitive impairment after or during infection in a subset of people. It looks like slow reaction time, short-term memory drops, and trouble with sequences. It is not rage. It is not a horror movie. It is a repair shop that lost 3 mechanics and is still trying to work. If this is you, do not drive. Do not climb ladders. Do not take calls as the sole dispatcher. Watch your own signs without drama. Tell a friend. Write lists. I want to be transparent. I had 3 minor slips today. The pen I could not identify, a word I reached for and could not grab during the maritime segment, and a small pause when I had to think whether I had already greased the generator mounts yesterday or not. I wrote them down. I ate food and drank water. I am sleeping between slots. I will test myself with the clap game in the morning when Dr. Lin calls. If I am off, I will announce it and hand more reading to Henrik and anyone who can read plainly in my place. We will keep the station functional. The identity is bigger than my voice. 0030. Coordinated universal time. Practical guidance. Setting a family identity phrase for phone calls to prevent scams and panic. Pick a line that is not in the Bible and not in a top 40 song. Make it boring but distinct. Something like, quote, "The blue door sticks in winter," end quote. When your family member calls you on a relay and you are not sure if it is him or her, ask for the identity phrase. If he or she says it, you relax. If not, you slow down and ask more questions. It will save you a spike of reckless adrenaline. I am going to speak the schedule one more time, slowly, in case someone is copying by hand. H17 Coastal Radio, Independent Emergency Service. Tromsø Headland, daytime frequency 15.350 megahertz. Night frequency 7.110 megahertz. Verified facts at the top of every hour. Practical guidance at 30 minutes past. Backup low power schedule. If the amplifier fails, is at 15 minutes past the hour on 7.110 megahertz. I will be blunt with you. I do not know when governments will align and settle into a rhythm. This kind of crisis behaves like a forest fire in slow motion. It burns hot in one valley and leaves another untouched. The path looks random until you trace the wind, the slope, and the fuel. Your job is to cut fire breaks in your daily life. Distance, ventilation, lists, patience. You cannot control the map. You can control your room. 0100 Coordinated Universal Time. I can hear my own voice bounce off a layer I cannot name. That is the band talking back. I will run one more practical and then sleep. Practical guidance. Pass through a window for apartments with a balcony. If you have a sliding balcony door, set a small table outside. Place deliveries there. Wave through the glass. Step back. After the delivery person leaves, open the door, grab the items, wipe handles, close the door. If you live higher than the second floor, tie light lines to a basket and lower it to friend level. Tie off the line to a chair leg inside so you do not drop the basket on a pedestrian. Write the date on a tag. Keep it boring. Boring wins. I'm going to end this hour with 2 promises. I will not lie to make you feel better. I will not amplify panic. If I say I do not know, I do not know. If I say I'm tired, it is not a performance. It is a body telling the truth. You do not have to clap for that. You just have to write the schedule and show up for the next slot. This is H17. I will be back at 0200 Coordinated Universal Time. If you are in bed, breathe deep. If you are on night shift, I see you. Take a sip of water. Stretch your back. Keep your gloves on. Speak softly. The man in front of you is not your enemy. The virus is not a mind. It is a habit. We erase habits with different habits. We do that 1 minute at a time. H17 out for now. 0200 Coordinated Universal Time. Back on. Quick hits. Gothenburg Clinic fuel arrived from a volunteer with a van and a shaved head who grinned like a pirate. He is going to sleep on a cot behind the ultrasound room. Good. A woman in Warsaw wants to know if she should spray her hallway with bleach daily. No. Wipe high-touch inches. Do not fog the air. Bleach fog will mess up your lungs and your cat's lungs. A student doctor in Krakow says he is helping with triage. He is scared. He is making up for fear by being strict. He worries he is straying into cruelty. He asked me what line to hold in his head. Hold this. The job is to get the greatest number of people through to next week with the least long-term damage. That is the line. When you feel yourself hardening, drink water. Crouch for 30 seconds, stand, and speak slower. Your voice is a tool. Use it like one. I am logging one more little slip. I typed the frequency wrong in my notebook and had to cross it out. That would not have bothered me a year ago. Tonight I feel a little heat in my chest about it. That is ego. Ego does not help this station. I am writing it here so it loses power. 0230. Coordinated Universal Time. Practical guidance. Gloves. Discipline for volunteers. Gloves are not magic. Gloves are hands you throw away. If you touch a dirty surface with gloves, and then rub your eyes with gloves, you might as well have rubbed your eyes with your skin. When you take gloves off, pinch the outside of one glove near the wrist. Peel it off so it turns inside out. Hold it in your gloved hand, then slide an ungloved finger under the wrist of the remaining glove and peel that one off over the first glove. Toss them. Wash hands. Do not keep a stash of used gloves. That is gross and dangerous. 0300 Coordinated Universal Time. Daria check. No response. I am going to read a 15-second maritime beacon every hour for you now, Rami. It will say, quote, H17 acknowledges Daria, holding slot reserved, advise status, end quote. If you are alive, I want you to know someone kept a slot for you. That is going to matter when you stand up alone in a loud room and decide whether to try the switch again. I will sleep for an hour after this slot. The tape will loop the schedule and the hand-washing segment. If the generator coughs, my hands will find the breaker in the dark. I can do it by feel now. I hate that knowledge. It is the kind that means I have done it too many times. This is H17, daytime 15.350 megahertz. Nightman 7.110 megahertz. Tops of the hour facts, bottom of the hour practicals. I am not going anywhere. If I am quiet, it is to keep the gear alive and the voice useful. We will talk again when the clock hits. H17 out. 0400 Coordinated Universal Time. Back again. Short update. 2 ambulances rolled at 0340 in Tromsø. That means the crews are still answering calls. If you see paramedics in your building, do not stop them to ask questions. They have radios and supervisors. They do not need your cousin's theory. Hold your tongue and hold the door. I have a note from a teacher in Prague. She's running classes for 10 kids in a courtyard with chalk circles on the ground, 2 arm lengths apart. She wants to know if this is crazy. It is not crazy. It is sane. She said the kids are calmer when they see each other, even without touching. She reads them a story after math. She says the parents cry sometimes when they pick them up. That is normal. People cry when something good cracks the shell over fear. Do not fear tears. Wipe them, wash your hands, keep going. 0430. Coordinated universal time. Practical guidance. Boots and shoes at doorways. Set a tray with a towel. Pull shoes off by the laces. Do not step through the doorway into your living room with outdoor shoes. Keep a pair of indoor shoes by the tray. If you live with someone, make a little joke about his ugly slippers. Laugh once a day if you can. Not because laughing cures anything, because dead quiet rooms make people weird. I'm going to close this night cycle with one last personal thing. If I lose words on the air in a way that scares you, I want you to remember this station is a schedule and a set of practical segments and a relay network. The network will not die when my voice gets stupid. Henrik can read. Dr. Lin can dictate. Eva can stand at a gate and speak to truckers through a fence. Piotr can say the word oxygen without shaking. Mina can hum the hand-washing steps. That is enough. This is H17. I will be back at dawn with sunlight catching the antenna wires and steam coming off the generator housing. I will tell you the fuel drum count. I will read you boring lists. Some of you will curse me for saying the same thing again. Good. It means you are alive to be annoyed. It means your radio works. It means I did my job. 0600. Coordinated Universal Time, dawn. H17 Coastal Radio, Independent Emergency Service, day on 15.350 MHz, night on 7.110 MHz. This is Mark on the Tromsø headland. If you can hear me, reply with location. Time and coordinated universal time and signal strength from 1 to 5. I will keep the format tight today. Tops of the hour, verified facts. 30 past, practical guidance. The wind is steady out of the northwest, fuel count at 440 liters across sealed drums. Battery bank at 6.5 kilowatt hours after night draw. 3 observations from the last hour. 1. The ferry horn did not sound at 0530. 2. I watched 2 ambulances roll south and then come back empty. They did not run sirens. 3. The airport approach lights at Tromsø-Langnes flickered twice and then froze. No departures listed on the board that I can reach by radio. Avenor notice overnight says standby staffing only. That means closed to civilian traffic except declared emergency. Do not crowd the fence. Do not try to wave a pilot down like a taxi. That will end with armed police and you staring at the ground. I'm going to read one message from Gothenburg. Dr. Sophia Lind checked in at 0540. She says they have enough fuel for the clinic generator for 1 more day. The neurologic follow-ups continue. She wants me to run a short live test on air for anyone who suspects variant N symptoms. We will do it at 0630 after the practical segment. Keep a sheet of paper and a pen ready. Mediterranean relay. Last night was rough but audible. Eva at the Valencia port read a list of cranes that have been locked out and a shift rotation that is now down to 7 workers for the entire East Gate. She sounded steady. She did not ask for permission to do anything today. She knows the drill. I will open a line for her at 0730 on 7.110 megahertz for a short live hit. Maritime check. Daria. Chief Mate Rami Haddad. Your slot is reserved each hour at minute 10 past. If you are on battery at low power, click once. If you can speak, give position, holding status, and crew count. If you cannot, I will still read the beacon for you. You are not forgotten. Practical guidance at 0630, improvised negative pressure room recap, and a step-by-step for door handoff tables. Then we move to the variant Enfield self-test. The test is simple. 3 words to remember, a go or no-go clap, a tracing line. It is not a diagnosis. It is a flag to slow down and write more lists. 1 more local item. 2 men tried to cut a chain on the marina fuel cage at 0510. They were not subtle. A neighbor shouted and they ran. If you have stored fuel, keep it chained and cabled. Put a note saying the fuel is for clinic generators and ambulance backup. It will not stop the worst person. It will remind the tired man in a dark jacket that he is stealing air from someone he might need later. Sometimes that reminder is enough. 0630. Coordinated universal time, practical guidance, negative pressure bedroom, window fan blowing out, filter on intake side, door flap hung with tape, Handoff table outside the door with clean side and dirty side marked. Bleach solution 1. To 20 for hard surfaces. Do not fog rooms. Wipe inch by inch where hands go. If you only have soap, use soapy water and friction. It still reduces risk. Now the variant Enfield self-test. Credit to Dr. Lind. Step 1. Registration. I will say 3 words. Repeat them after me. Then we talk for 1 minute. Then I will ask you to say the 3 words again. The words are, quote, spoon, window, train, end quote. Repeat. Spoon, window, train. Good. Step 2. Go or no go. Count to 3 at your own pace. Clap on 1. Do not clap on 2. Clap on 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. If you clapped on 2, do not panic. Note it. Step 3. Draw a line with your pen across the short side of your paper and stop when I say stop. Start now. Stop. If your hand kept going after stop, note it. If you froze before you started, note that too. This is not a pass or fail. It is a baseline. Now say the 3 words again. Spoon, window, train. If you lost one, note it. You will run this same test again tomorrow at the same hour and compare. If you keep missing or you start missing the clap or the stop, pull back from complex tasks. Do not drive. Move heavy pans low. Use written checklists for everything that matters. I will run it myself once per day on air. That includes the part where I mess up. I will log it. I expect to miss something this week. I am not immune to fatigue. If my numbers slip and keep slipping, Henrik and others will read more while I record the practicals and manage gear. H17 is not a personality. It is a structure. Rami, Daria slot now. H17 acknowledges Daria. Give position if possible. Click. Pause. Click. His voice is thin. Quote, Daria holding. Engine rough. One crew unresponsive. Others sleeping on deck. End quote. Rami, I hear you. If you can, bleed a pint at the tank drain to clear water. Keep someone tethered at all times. Do not let a man go overboard without a line. The North Atlantic will take him in minutes. Focus on the next hour, then focus on the hour after that. 0700 Coordinated Universal Time. Tops of the hour facts. The Norwegian Directorate of Health issued guidance to move oxygen concentrators out of poorly ventilated rooms and into doorways with fans blowing outward. That is a good call. A closed box room fills with aerosols. A fan that pulls air out reduces concentration. If you hear a neighbor running a concentrator in a closed bathroom, knock and teach him this. Germany's federal police are redirecting traffic away from hospital perimeters when crowds gather. If you are in Dusseldorf or Munich and you think yelling at a glass door will make a bed appear, you are wrong. Go home, drink water, sleep. Show up carefully tomorrow. Do not add to the problem. A message from Helsinki. Callie, the security guard with the broken nose, says, the store shortened lines after a woman fainted from standing too long in the cold. He put a bench inside the entry and a sign that says, sit 1 person per bench end. He wipes the bench every 5 minutes. He says it is the best idea he has had all week. I agree. Henrik relay at 0715. Stand by. Henrik keys twice. He reads a list of inland farms and the status of their diesel tanks. He reads with no flair and no rush. He says Tor's knee is swollen. He tells Tor to sit while washing dishes. He asks if anyone has spare fencing for a pen because a cow pushed through. If you are within 2 hours of his light and you have spare wire, leave it at the marked box by the lower path. Do not wait for a handshake. Leave it and go. 0730 Mediterranean window. 7.110 megahertz. Eva, if you can, speak. Eva comes in like a whisper under rain. Quote, Gate 3 closed. We borrowed a forklift battery. I ate crackers behind a container. The driver with the fever turned around last night. Security thinks he went to an industrial park. We left bread and bottled water outside the fence again. Someone takes it, end quote. She breathes and adds, quote, I'm tired of telling truckers I cannot open the gate, but I will not cause a crowd, end quote. Eva, you are doing the work right. People listening from Lisbon to Thessaloniki, hear this. One person at one gate with a plan does more good than 10 angry men with megaphones. If you want to help, bring tape, markers, and patience. Write rules on a board. Stand beside it. Tap the board. People follow boards better than faces. Thanks, Ahmed, for that trick. 0800. Coordinated Universal Time. Tops of the hour facts. Avenor has put Tromsø Airport into emergency standby. The notice says firefighters and one air traffic controller will be present for declared emergency only. No fuel trucks for general service. The fence is sealed. If you see a light in the tower, it is not an invitation. It is a tired human keeping a promise to pilots. Respect the fence. Prague school note. The courtyard class added a second chalk circle row for spelling. The teacher wrote, quote, soap, masks, window, train, end quote, and made the kids practice. She said she heard my test. I smiled. That is the first time I smiled today. Good job, Prague. 0830. Practical guidance. Safe diesel transfer. Use a proper siphon with a hand pump. Do not suck by mouth. Wear a face covering or a mask because you will lean close. Ground the can to the tank to reduce static. Put the can on a crate so you are not bending over the whole time. If fuel splashes on skin, wipe. Wash with soap quickly and change clothes. Do not do this inside. Fumes will make you dumb and then sick. Maritime slot. Deria, Rami, status. He comes back with a cough, quote, engine idling, temperature high, bilge pump cycling. I tied the unresponsive man in the recovery position. I hear something in the shaft tunnel. Maybe rumble, end quote. I give him one instruction. Check the sea chest strainers. If clogged, back flush if you can. If not, throttle back to keep temperature in line. Do not cook the engine. Engines die before men if you push them foolishly. 0900 Coordinated Universal Time. Tops. Poland introduced a rotating schedule for grocery access tied to apartment numbers. It will frustrate people. It will thin crowds. If you want less shouting in a queue, adopt systems like this before someone swings a fist. Dr. Lin, call in 5 minutes. I am going to drink water. You too, swallow. That is a real instruction. Back. Dr. Lind on the line. She asked me to run the test live. Fine. Spoon, window, train. I repeat the words. Spoon, window, train. I set my hands for the clap. 1, I clap. 2, I do not clap. 3, I clap. Then the line. Start. I draw. Stop. My pen stops. Now recall. Spoon, window. I blank for a half second. Train. I got it. I note the half-second stall on recall word 2. That goes in the log. I can work. I will keep testing daily. A listener asked why I am doing this on air, because people hide symptoms to protect roles. Hidden symptoms cause accidents. I want you to hear someone say, I had a small stall, and I'm still on the job with adjustments. That message helps a farmer in the inland valley admit he needs the checklist by the door. 0930. Practical guidance. Simple balloon transmitter project. I mentioned this earlier. I built 3 tiny repeaters yesterday from spare parts and a microcontroller board that plays an audio loop. Each unit is a fist-sized plastic box with a lithium battery pack and a small solar panel wired to a low-power, high-frequency transmitter, crystal-locked to a fixed frequency. It outputs a short recorded loop at scheduled minutes. The content is the station ID and a rotation of practical segments. The plan is to loft each unit on a weather balloon so it drifts and repeats until power fails or it descends. It is illegal in normal times to loft transmitters without coordination. In normal times, we would not be here. I will announce frequencies and times before launch. If you copy a faint loop repeating my practical segments somewhere far from Tromsø, that is one of these units. If you intercept one landed intact, send me a message with a location and leave it running if the battery is still good. Technical detail for radio heads. The first unit is tuned to 10 MHz even, very low power, on-off keyed audio beacon. The loop is 90 seconds. The second is at 7.005 megahertz. The third is at 15.1 megahertz. I'm not interfering with standard time signals or maritime nets. I tested harmonics into a dummy load. The signal shape is clean enough for this emergency purpose. 1000. Tops. The Swedish Coast Guard reports more small craft moving at night toward closed harbors. Do not try to sneak into a port that is closed. You will meet a guard with orders and fatigue. Bad mix. Call on the radio. Declare your problem. Pick a time for a controlled approach in daylight if allowed. If denied, accept it and hold offshore in clear water. Lightning forecast for tonight looks ugly. A polar low spinning down, strong gusts. I will secure the mast mounts, guy lines, and the generator roof bolts this afternoon. If the line conditioner dies, I will switch to low power and a direct battery feed to the transceiver with a fuse. If you hear me thin and quiet tonight, that is by design. Oxygen guidance, Piotr. A retired machinist from Bialystok with the email call sign, Sawa, says he has correct threads and seats for Polish aluminum cylinders and is willing to repair scarred regulators. He wants 3 cleaned regulators delivered to his gate at noon local time. He will not let anyone inside. He says to leave them on a chair and ring a bell. That is how you do it. I am reading his exact street loud and slow. Copy it. 1030. Practical guidance. Stairwell airflow. Top window open if present. Bottom door cracked for 5 minutes each hour to flush. 1 person per landing at a time. Use backpacks for weight. Do not carry in your hands. Hold railings with gloves or a rag you toss in the wash. If you huff and weave at the bottom, sit on the step. No shame, no one is filming you for likes. Daria, 10 past the hour slot. Rami, status. He keys and the tone is wrong. I hear alarm noise in the background. He says, quote, engine room hot, smoke from insulation. I shut fuel to idle, bilge high water. I cannot find the leak, end quote. I tell him, close the fire damper if you suspect flame, isolate the space, wait 1 minute, peek without inhaling. Use a portable extinguisher only if you see flames small enough to hit, otherwise shut and starve. Keep a man counting aloud so you do not freeze. If the bilge is rising and you cannot keep up, prepare life raft and grab a thermal suit. Tie lines to each man. Do not scatter. 1100. Tops. Bergen Tower is cold and dark except for emergency lights. The controller who wrote me yesterday left one last note on his kitchen table, according to a neighbor. Quote, do not come to the fence, end quote. Listen to the man. He watched planes all his life. He knows when a fence is the last line that keeps a crowd out of a jet's intake. I am going to launch the first balloon transmitter at noon Coordinated Universal Time. I will state the frequency again. 10 megahertz even. Low power. The loop will play the station ID, the sick room setup, mask handling, water chlorination, and the emergency backup schedule. If it drifts south, you might hear it in Central Europe near dusk. If it drifts north, you will hear it in the Barents region in the afternoon. 1130. Practical guidance. Balloon prep steps for those who want to copy the project. Gear list. Weather balloon, helium cylinder, or hydrogen if that is all you can get, but handle with care. Tether line, payload box, microcontroller with audio playback, small class D audio amp, low power HF transmitter module, lithium battery pack with overcurrent protection, small solar panel, regulator to 5 volts, antenna wire of 28 gauge for lightness, and a weighted tail for stability. Checklist. Test audio loop on the bench, check transmitter output into a dummy load, measure current draw, set a duty cycle to extend battery, weather seal the box with silicone and tape, attach an address card with, quote, emergency beacon for public health messages, non-hostile, do not destroy, end quote. 1200. Balloon launch. I am outside with the box. Wind is frisk, not murderous. I have the line clipped to a sandbag while I add a final tape wrap. The audio loop plays in my headphones. Station ID, sick room, masks, water, schedule. It sounds like a sane person talking. That helps. I open the valve on the helium cylinder. Fill until the balloon lifts the box and a spare weight. Then remove the weight. I hold the neck, tie, double wrap, zip tie for safety, and then clip the tether to the payload. I read the frequency again into the mic. 10 megahertz even. Loop at 10 minutes past each hour, 90-second duration. I let go. It lifts. It does not snag. It clears the mast. It climbs. It drifts southeast. Please carry the message, you thin skin. I am not asking the wind for romance. I am asking it for reach. Back inside, I have a new rattle in the line conditioner. I will open the case this afternoon and reseat the filters. Do not do this on live gear unless you know how to discharge capacitors. They bite. Hard. 01210, Maritime, Daria. Rami Keys. And the sound is fear. He says, quote, "Fire and insulation stopped, engine temperature down, bilge still rising. I think we hit a floating pallet last night and cracked a plate. We are listing 2 degrees to port." End quote. I give him a brief script. Move portable pumps. If you have collision mats or tarps, rig them on the outside aft of the suspected leak with lines over the side to hold pressure. That buys time. Put strong swimmers and thermal suits on lines. Do not swim free. Do not be brave. Be tied. 01300. Tops. The Polish line at Tiraspol broke into shouting at noon local time. A listener said a woman started handing out cookies. The shouting dropped. People are predictable. Feed them something sweet in a fair way, and your problem shrinks. You cannot do that with every crowd, but you can do it with hungry families. I'm going to talk about theft now. Some of you hate that topic. You want to believe your street is a village. Some streets are, some are not. Do not leave diesel cans in open sight. Do not stack food by a window. If you have to sleep, make noise traps with cans and line on the lower gate. Do not confront a thief with a blade. Shout from an upstairs window. Turn on a light. Use numbers. People do not like being spotted. That alone stops half the nonsense. If it does not, do not escalate. Your life is not worth 30 liters of fuel. 01330. Practical guidance, carbon monoxide alarms and generators. If your alarm is beeping every 30 seconds faintly, it might be a low battery, or it might be telling you your air is poison. Check the manual. Crack a window. Move the generator outside now. If you live in a block of flats and you smell exhaust in a stairwell, bang on doors until someone answers. People die quick and quiet from gas. Better to be the annoying neighbor who saved 3 families than the polite one who brought flowers later. I am going to check the mast guys before the polar low hits. The gusts will try to pull the anchors out of the wet ground. I have 2 lengths of chain and spare stakes. I will double stake the windward side. If I do not come back in 3 minutes, assume I slipped and will swear my way home with bruised ribs. Back. I did not fall. I did hit my knee on the generator frame like an amateur. I will ice it with a bag of frozen peas I have been hoarding in the dead freezer. The small, ridiculous comforts matter because they keep hands steady. 01400. Tops. A call from Dublin. A listener put an index card in his window that says, quote, "I am okay today," end quote, with the date. I told you to do that. Good. His neighbor copied the idea. Now the block has a quiet signal system. That is what we want. Low tech that scales, no app, no nonsense. Henrik relay at 01415. He reads the practical list in plain voice. Farmers answer with 2-click acknowledgements. He says he is putting a tool bucket on the path with a rag, tape, and a pencil. He says to take what you need and leave what you can. He reads names. The names are the point. A list of numbers is cold. Names tell you a person is still there and working. 01430. Practical guidance. Medication lists. Write the name of each drug, the dose, the time given, and the next time due. Tape the list to the sick room door. If you run out, write the time of the last dose and leave a blank. Future you will thank past you for not making him dig through a bag at 3 in the morning. 01500. Tops. Weather. Polar low expected to pass north of us overnight with gusts to gale force. Lightning probable. Secure outdoor items. tie down tarps, and put waterproof covers on anything with motors. If you have a mast, drop it if you can live without it for a night. I cannot. So I will ride it out and pretend I'm smarter than I am. Daria, 1510. Rami breathes like a man holding a line with his teeth. He says, quote, "We rigged a tarp outside, bilge rising slower, unresponsive man is breathing shallow, 2 men vomiting, we are all thirsty." End quote. Drink water, Rami. Sounds stupid. Drink anyway. Thirst makes poor choices. Poor choices kill ships. Keep a man counting minutes out loud. Reset tasks every 5 minutes. Do not drift into a stare. 01530. Practical guidance. Triaging at a village roadblock. Do not stand men with shotguns at the barrier if you can avoid it. Put one unarmed person with a board and a pen. Put the armed person 20 yards back, not visible, to keep his barrel out of the argument. Everything goes better when the barrel is not in the frame. Read your script. Yes or no. Step aside. Next. I am going to say something personal. My recall word stall earlier bothered me more than it should have. That is a warning sign for me. Pride does not help stations run. Systems do. I am moving the recorded segments into top of the hour position from now until the storm passes. Live reads will be bottom of the hour only. That saves brain cycles and leaves the system intact if I need to fix the generator mid-sentence. 01600. Tops. 2 more hospitals in northern Germany are asking relatives not to visit wards. If you want to help, deliver clean socks, soap drops, phone charging cords, and a small bag of hard candies for dry mouths. Label the bag with a name and a bed number. Tape it shut. Leave it at intake. Do not ask to peek inside the ward. 01630. Practical guidance. Feeding a patient with low energy. Sit the person upright. Small sips, not big gulps. Broth and rice. Salt matters. If he or she coughs while drinking, stop. Wait. Try again with a straw if safe. Keep a log of fluid consumed. Do not force food if nausea is high. Focus on fluids. 01700. Tops. The Tromsø airport is now closed completely to civilian operations until further notice. Emergency only. If you have a valid reason to approach, you already know how to file a request, and you have a radio, and you will be let in by a human in a suit with a badge. Everyone else, stay home. Henrik relay at 1715. He says one farm lost shingles in the last gust. He tells them to tack tarps with battens, not single nails, so the wind does not peel it like a banana. He did not mean to make that image. He is a simple man trying to keep rain off a kitchen. 01730. Practical guidance. Emergency headlamp use. Tape a piece of parchment paper or thin white plastic over the headlamp to diffuse light for a ward. Your patients will rest better without a knife beam cutting eyes. If you need to search, peel the tape back. 01800. Tops. Quiet stretch. People are holding. I will launch the second balloon at dusk if the wind gives me a window. If not, I will wait. I do not want to watch it explode on the station wall. Maritime slot at 1810. Daria. No voice, 1 click, then silence. I read the beacon anyway. Quote, H17 acknowledges Daria. Holding slot reserved. Advise status. End quote. 01830. Practical guidance. Handover notes for the person who will take your shift. Write 3 bullets. What changed? What is next? What you could not finish. Put your name and time. Tape it to the console or the fridge or the gate post. Do not dump your mess into the next person's lap without a map. 1900. Tops. Launch window now. The wind fell slightly. I am stepping outside. Back. Second balloon aloft. 7.005 megahertz. Loop at 40 minutes past each hour. The payload wobbled and then steadied. It climbed into cloud. If you hear a loop saying, quote, this is H17 emergency beacon, end quote, with sick room, masks, water, and schedule. That is it. Log it. Write the time. Send it to me later by voice. 1930. Practical guidance. Home oxygen safety for discharges. Keep concentrator in a doorway with a fan blowing outward from the patient room. Keep oxygen tubing off the floor where it can trip someone. Hang it on a clean hook. Keep oil and grease away from connectors. No smoking, no candles, no open heaters. 0-2000. Tops. My knee is swelling. I strapped a cold pack. I will still climb if the mast needs it, but I will curse more. Cursing is not a plan. Tape is a plan. I tape the guy line turnbuckles to keep them from vibrating loose. That is the plan. 0-2010. Maritime slot. Daria. Breath. Then Rami's voice breaks. Quote, Mayday, Mayday. Mayday, this is motor vessel Daria, position 57 degrees north, 19 degrees west, taking water, bilge rising, engine off, crew in immersion suits, preparing raft, end quote. I copy. I repeat his Mayday with his position. I push it on every channel I have. I state it on very high frequency, channel 16. I state it on 7 megahertz. I state it on 15 megahertz. I drag the seat closer to the desk and read it again. I do not have a direct line to the Icelandic Coast Guard from here. If you are closer and you have a working link, call them. Give the position. Do not wait for me to call you back. His voice returns. Quote, launching raft. One man still unresponsive. I am tying him in. End quote. The static eats the end. I read it back. I tell him to tether the raft bow and stern with lines to the ship until he gets everyone in. Then cut bow, then stern, to avoid the raft ramming the hull. I tell him to take water and an emergency radio. He says, quote, I have the radio, end quote, then silence. 0-2030. Practical guidance, cold water immersion drill for anyone near the Norwegian coast. If someone goes over, keep eyes on him. Throw a line with a loop. Keep the loop big, not a noose. Talk to him. Do not lose sight of him while looking for gear. If you cannot pull him back aboard and you have to tow him slowly by the head so he does not drown in his own wake. Get him out fast. Strip wet clothes, wrap in dry, warm the trunk. Do not pour hot water on hands and feet. That hurts and does nothing. 0-2100. Tops. Storm edge is here. The line conditioner is chirping. I am going to move to reduce power at 15 past each hour after 2200 to save the gear and ride the lightning. If the amp dies, I will work bare radio on 7.110 megahertz. If you cannot hear me, assume I am still working. I will be here until the generator or the mast says no. 0-2110. Maritime, Daria. Thin voice. Not Rami. Another man. He says, quote, we cut the stern line, bow caught, raft tore, we tied again, waves hitting, end quote. I tell him to cut the bowline now, to avoid the raft riding under. He says, quote, cutting, end quote. Then a shout I do not understand, and static. 0-2130. Practical guidance. If you are a listener within reach of 57 north, 19 west, and you have a vessel and a healthy crew and enough fuel, you already know your own conditions. I will not order anyone into a gale at night. If you are close, make your call. If you are not close, do not posture on the radio. Air is for action, not bravado. 0-2200. Tops, moving to reduce power now. Backup schedule, 15 past the hour, every hour, 7.110 megahertz, low power. I will keep reading short facts in one practical segment each slot until the storm passes. If my signal is a whisper, copy what you can. 0-22, 15. Practical guidance, lightning safety. Unplug sensitive gear if you can stand silence. Tie down loose metal. Do not stand under the mast to watch the show. Keep windows closed on the storm side. Keep a bucket and a mop for drips. 0-2315. Low power, practical guidance, simple respiratory exercises for recovering patients. Sit upright. Inhale slowly through the nose for 4 counts. Hold for 2 counts. Exhale through pursed lips for 6 counts. Do that 5 times. Rest. Repeat 3 sets per hour while awake. Stop if dizzy. 0015. Coordinated universal time. New day, same storm, low power. Practical guidance. Writing out your network on paper. List names of people you can ask for help and what each can do. List what you can do for others. List where a spare key is. List where you hid your backup headlamp. Give the list to one trusted neighbor. If you live alone, tape it in the kitchen. 0115. Low power. Practical guidance. Keeping kids sane in a small flat. 1 hour of physical tasks per morning. Stair climbing. Mop the floor. Push chairs to the wall and back. 1 hour of quiet with books or drawing. Rotate. Give them small tasks that matter. Do not lie to them. Tell them what you are doing and why. 0215. Low power. Practical guidance. Sick room trash management. Keep a can with a lid outside the door. Anything from the room goes there. Tie liners tight. Move to outdoor bin daily. Wash hands after. 0315. Low power. Short note. The balloon on 10 megahertz is still transmitting. Faint return on my receiver. Duty cycle is holding. I will check the battery curve at dawn. 0415. Low power. Practical guidance. Fatigue-proofing stairwells at night. Glow tape on edges. Rope banister if the rail is loose. One headlamp at top landing taped in place for emergencies. 0515. Low power. I am hearing a faint carrier at 7.005 megahertz. That is the second balloon. Loop is running. That means 2 airborne repeaters are alive. Good. 0600. Storm peak. The mast shudders. The guy line sings. The generator hunts. I smell ozone. I cannot keep high power without risking the amp. I will run the next hours at low power only. If Tromsø goes dark and you do not hear me, copy Henrik if you can. He will read the list at 1:15. 0610. Maritime slot. Daria. No response. I read the beacon. I imagine a raft on a black sea. Then I push that image away. It does not help the next task. The next task is tightening the turnbuckle and checking the breaker. 0630. Practical guidance. Stove safety for exhausted families. Do not cook when you cannot keep eyes open. Bread, cheese, cold beans are better than a kitchen fire. If you must heat, set a timer that makes a physical noise. When it rings, turn the knob off. 0700. The line conditioner dies with a pop. The room goes quiet. I switch cables. I throw the bypass. I feed the radio direct from battery through an inline fuse. The signal meter drops, but the carrier holds. If you can hear this thin voice, you have a good antenna and a decent radio. Write down what you hear. Relay later. Henrik at 0715. He sounds like gravel. He says the wind knocked a tree onto a shed. He says he will read the practical list, but then he needs to go help a neighbor. He reads sick room, masks, water, schedule, and then he drops. I tell him to go. The list will play on the loop. 0730. I test myself again for variant N while the storm screams. Spoon, window, train, clap on 1. Do not clap on 2. Clap on 3. I miss the 3 clap. It hurts to admit it. I write it. I say it. I move on. Lists and structure will carry the station. Pride will sink it. 0800. I get a very weak ground wave call on very high frequency channel 16 from a small fishing boat coming in too close to the rocks. I tell him to turn to starboard 3 degrees and keep speed down. I hear the engine cough and then the click as he drops the mic. He does not answer. The wind eats his words. I do not know if he hits the rocks. I log the call and the advice. 0830. Practical guidance, after storm inspection list. Check roof for missing shingles. Check gutters for blockages. Check downspouts for ice. Check the mast guys for tension. Check generator mounts. Check fuel lines for chafe. Check tarps. Write it all down. Fix what you can. Mark what you cannot. Ask a neighbor for help on one item only. People say yes to one task faster than to a vague plea. 0900. Tops. The airport perimeter is intact. 1 patrol car circled the fence and left. No crowds. Good. The city is tired. Quiet is not peace, but it is not chaos either. Take quiet when you can. Use it to get ready for the next hit. 0910, Maritime, Daria. Nothing. I read the beacon a last time, and then I say this out loud to a room full of humming gear. Rami, if you are alive, you did everything a man could do. If you are not, your voice was heard. Someone in a kitchen in Narvik knows your name now. That is not a body. It is not nothing. 0930. Practical guidance. Handling remains at home when services are overwhelmed. This is a hard one. Keep the body in a cool room if possible. Do not handle alone. Wear masks, gloves, and long sleeves. Place the body in a sheet and secure with tape. Contact authorities for instructions. If told to wait, you wait. Do not try to move a body by yourself down a stairwell. You will fall and make 2 emergencies. I wish I did not have to say this, I do. 1000. Tops. I received a faint copy of the balloon loop from south of Oslo. That means the first unit is drifting over southern Norway. If you are in Sweden or Denmark, you may hear it in the next 6 hours. Log and relay. My knee is a balloon. I wrapped it. I am not a hero. I am a man with tape. Tape and lists get us to dinner. 1030. Practical guidance. Handover for stations. If you run a small neighborhood net, pick a backup host and a backup frequency. Keep a printed copy of your script in a zip bag. Tape it to the gear. If you sleep and someone else reads, do not correct his accent later. Thank him. 1100. Tops. Eva's port went quiet according to a ship that tried to call the gate and got no reply. It is Sunday there. They may be sleeping under desks. If you left bread on the fence last night, do it again today. Do not wait for instructions to be kind. 1130. Practical guidance. Fire watch after generator runs. When you shut down, put a hand near the muffler. Feel heat. Keep flammables away. Check for drips under fuel lines. Wipe spills. A generator fire will take your shelter faster than any rumor. 1200. Tops. The storm is easing 1 notch. I can risk opening the line conditioner case. I will disconnect power, wait 5 minutes, bleed the caps with a resistor, then reseat filters and check for cracked solder. If you do not know how to do that, do not copy me. Leave it shut and live to eat soup. 1230. Practical guidance. How to leave instructions for a child if you must go to a clinic. Write his name. Write 3 phone numbers. Write, quote, if you do not reach anyone, go to this neighbor, end quote, with an arrow and a drawn door. Pack a small bag with a snack, a book, and a sweater. Tell the child the plan in calm voice. Then go. Do not make it a scene. He will remember your calm. 1300. I get a short call from a man on a tug near Reykjavik. He says the Coast Guard has a list of distress calls longer than he can read in an hour. He did not say Daria. He did not have to. I thanked him for answering anything at all. Then I cut the carrier and sat. Then I stood and read the schedule into the mic again because that is what I do. 1330. Practical guidance. How to shut down a home when you leave in a hurry. Unplug everything. Close windows. Leave water buckets by radiators to catch drips. Tape a list of contacts on the inside of the front door. Lock. Walk. Do not look back. Looking back makes people stupid and stares. 1400. Tops. I am going to launch the 3rd balloon at 1500 if the wind cooperates. 15.1 megahertz. Loop at 20 minutes past each hour. That will give continental reach if the skip plays nice. Henrik at 1415. He reads slowly. At the end he says he found a neighbor on the floor with a space heater humming. He opened the window. The neighbor breathed and coughed. Henrik is not trained. He is alive and practical. Be like Henrik. 1430. Practical guidance, sorting rumors. Ask, who saw it? What did he or she do? What happened? If the answer is, quote, a friend said, end quote, or, quote, I read, end quote, throw it in the rumor pile. Do not act on it. 1500. Launching. The wind gusts. I tie, retie, and then let go. The balloon skitters sideways, catches a laminar patch, and climbs. 15.1 megahertz. Loop at 20 past the hour. I listen on the receiver. I hear a faint tick as it keys. I breathe once. Then I go back to the desk. 0:15:20. I hear the loop on schedule. Station ID, sick room, masks, water. Schedule. Clean. Good. That is 3 airborne repeaters. The system spreads. If my voice stops, the loops continue for days. That is the idea. 0:15:30. Practical guidance. Writing for the next person after you. Do not write poetry. Write steps. Put numbers. 1, 2, 3. Short verbs. Tape the page where the task happens. If it is for a generator, tape it on the generator. If it is for the sick room, tape it on the door. 0:1600. Tops. The airport posted a new notice. Fire crew reduced again. No civilian operations until a new order. The tower light is off. That hurts in my chest. I learned to love that light from a distance. I will not stand at the fence to mourn it. I have work. 0:16:30. Practical guidance. Self-care for the person doing too much. Sit. Drink water. Stretch your lower back. Eat something with salt. Write 3 lines in your notebook. What you did, what you will do next, what you will not do today. Stick to that. 0:1700. Tops. Eva did not call on her slot. I will not invent reasons. She might be sleeping. She might be moving pallets. She might be staring at the wall for 10 minutes to get her head back. That last one is legitimate work, too. 0:17:30. Practical guidance. If you live in a building with many languages, print icons. Food, water, medicine, toilet, bed. Tape them in hallways with arrows. That lowers shouting by a lot. 0:1800. Tops. The generator coughed and stabilized. Fuel count at 380 liters. That is fine for a week at this duty cycle, not fine for a month. I will cut power tonight to sleep segments and run only the loop. The live mic will be at the top and bottom of the next 4 hours, then off until dawn. 0:18:30. Practical guidance. How to say no at a gate without turning the place into a fight. Write the no on a board before people arrive. Point at the board. Speak the script. Do not add words. Do not argue. Repeat the script. Point again. Step back. This saves your throat and your soul. 0:1900. Tops. The first balloon is likely over southern Sweden by now. If you hear it, log it. I want to know if the loop survives sunset noise. 0:1930. Practical guidance. Ear protection for staff in loud rooms. Stuff cotton in a pinch if you have nothing else. Long noise makes people snap. Save your ears so you do not bark at a grandmother when she asks for water. 0:2000. Tops. I am going to read a short message from Mina. She says, quote, "The generator smells like lawnmower, and we take turns sleeping. We tape the hand wash list by the sink. Aunt Carrie made pancakes with powdered mix. I miss you," end quote. I miss you too, kid. Soap. Rub palms, backs of hands. Between fingers, thumbs, nails, wrists, rinse, dry. 0:2030. Practical guidance. If you must go into a room you have kept clean, stop at the door. Check mask. Check gloves. Take a breath. Step in. Do the task. Step out. Remove gloves by the straps. Wash hands. Boring. Do it the same way every time. That is how airplanes stay in the sky. That is how your apartment stays safe. 0:2100. Tops. My recall test again. Spoon, window, train. Clap on 1. No clap on 2. Clap on 3. I missed the clap on 1. That is new. I breathe. I say it. I am not safe to climb tonight. I will not climb. The mast will live without me. 0:2130. Practical guidance. Leaving a last message. Write your name. Write one instruction that matters. Write one kindness. Tape it where someone will see it. That is not drama. That is housekeeping. 0:2200. Tops. I am powering down the linear amplifier. Low power only. Loops will carry content on the balloons. If the tower takes a hit and the radio fries, the balloons will still speak for a day or two. 0:2230. Practical guidance. If your station or home system must go quiet, do not vanish without a trace. Leave a recorded loop with schedule, a list of practicals, and one sentence about why. People can handle gaps. They hate ghosts. 02300. Tops, the wind is back up. I feel the floor thrum. I will close here for the night and let the loop run. The loop contains the station ID, sick room, mask handling, water, and the backup schedule. If you need more, wait for dawn. I will be here if I can. Dawn again. 0600. The room stinks of hot dust. The amp is dead. The transceiver powers up on battery. The line conditioner is a brick. The mast stands. The guy lines hold. I move slowly. My head is thick and the words are heavy. I will keep it short. 3 things. 1. The airport is dark and stays dark. 2. The inland relay is off. Henrik may be out on a call or fixing a roof. 3. The balloons still transmit. I hear the 7 megahertz loop. I hear the 15 megahertz loop faint. That is something. I run the recall test. Spoon, window, train. I lose the second word for a full second. I get it back. Clap on 1. I clap late. No clap on 2. Clap on 3. I hesitate. This is not a show. This is a man admitting he is on a slope. I will not drive. I will not climb. I will not open the line conditioner again. I will read the script and prepare a handover. I write a note to Mina on paper. I write my name. I write the hand wash list. I write the phrase we chose. Quote, "The blue door sticks in winter," end quote. I tape the note under the console. If someone finds this room later, he or she will see it. I record a last loop on the cassette, station ID, frequencies, backup schedule, practical segments. Then one sentence in my normal voice. Quote, "If the live mic is silent, copy the loop, pass it on, keep your lists, wash your hands, breathe," end quote. I hit stop. I rewind. I play. The hiss is there. The words cut through. Good enough. I step outside to check the turnbuckles one more time. The sky is slate. The sea is white at the crests. I keep my eyes on my boots. I tighten one buckle a half turn. I do not slip. I do not fall. I walk back inside. My heart is fast. I sit until it slows. 0700. Tops. I read a short list. Food warehouse volunteer drivers needed. Ident numbers written on a board by the gate. Take a mask. Take a pair of gloves. Do not step into apartments. Leave boxes at the door. Knock. Walk. 0710. Maritime. I read the beacon for Daria, then I stop. That slot is empty now. I will keep the minute on the script a few days more, then I will cut it. That is how you honor and move on at the same time. 0730. Practical guidance. How to shut down a station with dignity. Speak the schedule. Thank the relays. Announce the loop. Name 2 people who helped. Then let the recorder play. Tape a note to the door that says where to leave messages. Do not promise what you cannot deliver. 0800. I hear a faint voice on the 7 megahertz band. It is a child. He says, quote, "Mom says thank you for the water list." I put the bleach drops in and wrote the date, end quote. I say, "Good job, kid. Write your name on the jug so no one yells at you for doing it." He laughs once and clicks off. I sit and swallow. Then I read the next line of the script. 0830. Practical guidance. If you are reading this on a relay because H17 went quiet, know this. You do not need my voice. You need the steps. Keep your windows cracked in sick rooms. Keep your hands washed. Keep your lists. Keep your mouth soft when you can. 0900. Tops. I call Ava. No answer. I call Henrik. No answer. I call Dr. Lind. A tone, then nothing. The net is tired. I repeat the schedule. I repeat the mask handling. I repeat the sick room. Repetition is not music, it is engineering. 0930. Practical guidance. Last one for me, Lev. If you have a radio and can speak clearly, write a script. Keep it short. Read it twice a day at the same time. Tell people one thing that is true and useful, then stop. That carries more weight than any rant. 0100. I move the mic closer. I read the identity one last time with the full strength I have. H17 Coastal Radio. Independent Emergency Service. Daytime on 15.350 megahertz. Night on 7.110 megahertz. Backup low power at 15 past the hour on 7.110 megahertz. If the live mic is silent, a loop will play the essentials at each quarter hour. Copy the loop, repeat it in your town, use your own voice, say it in your own words. Do not wait for permission. I thank names. Henrik on the rock with wind in his face. Dr. Sophia Lind in Gothenburg, who kept numbers honest. Eva at the port gate, who made choices alone and did not dress them up. Ahmed in Berlin with the chalkboard and lollipops. Kalle in Helsinki with the bench. Piotr outside Bialystok with the oxygen. Rami on the Daria with his hands on a line in a cold night. Mina with the hand wash song. If any of you hear this, know your work mattered. I set the cassette to loop. I lower the mic gain. I write on a card, quote, loop engaged, end quote, and tape it to the console. I switch the transmitter to a duty cycle that will not burn the finals. I cut the generator for 10 minutes to cool. The room goes dim. The battery holds. The balloons whisper their loops across places I will never stand. I sit and run the test again in my head without speaking. Spoon, window, train. I get two. I lose one. I do not chase it. Chasing words makes more words run. I take a sip of water. I breathe. I listen to the hiss. The hiss is honest. It does not flatter. I pick up a pen. I write a line for my daughter in the station log. Quote, I kept the schedule until I could not, end quote. I tuck the log under the console. I stand. My knee complains. I tell it to wait. It does not answer. Outside, the sky is a gray lid. The sea is indifferent. The mast hums. I put one hand on the generator housing. It is warm metal, that is all. I go back inside and sit with the loop. H17's last live words are simple. Drink water. Sit. Make a list. Do one line. Wash your hands. Help one person. Sleep. Wake. Do it again. The loop takes over. It says the schedule. It says the sick room. It says mask handling. It says water. It says the backup slot. It plays on time every time until the battery stutters and the radio keels over. There is no grand sound. There is a click and then a thin line of hiss and then nothing. The balloons talk to no one until they do not. The mast stands until it does not.